This podcast may startle you. It would not have been possible otherwise to sufficiently emphasize the frightful toll of the new drug menace which is destroying the youth in alarmingly increasing numbers. Marijuana is that drug. Its first effect is sudden, violent, uncontrollable laughter. Then comes dangerous hallucinations, followed by emotional disturbances, the loss of all power to resist physical emotions, leading finally to acts of shocking violence, ending often in incurable insanity. Entering this state of being, however, is the only way I was able to watch Louise Linton's desperate cry for help. We watched Reefer Madness and Me, You Madness.
The French champagne.
Can you tell me which members of the Reservoir Dogs you two are currently dressed as?
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Classic Spielberg.
Classic Spielberg.
He needs to kill 94 different 65-year-old men over 2.5 years because those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Shake it! Shake it!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is... or yours.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Wonderful intro, and the first time on the first try too.
Yeah, nailed it that first time.
Also, I just want to start by saying I don't want to make a habit of us knowing Miss Linton's name. I don't want her to become a household name in my life or in this podcast. So I'm just going to call her Linda Loston. Okay. Or Lopsy
Loodle.
Loodle.
Yeah.
Lopsy Loodle.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Benjamin Laramie Coswell.
Shapiro.
Hi. Hello. Welcome to Citizen Kane Versus. This is a podcast where we take a movie that's more on the classic side and we compare it to a movie that's more on the schlocky side of things. And we ask ourselves, honestly, which is hotter? I mean, better.
Sex.
Sex. My name is
Couch.
Sofa. My name is Couch Rennie, and I'm joined by my two friends.
Sofa Jacqueline.
It's a couch, Benoit.
All right.
And this week we got two picks from Mr. Sofa Jacqueline,
Hey.
and that are both quite maddening for sure.
Yep. Yep.
How do you feel about yourself, Sean?
I was feeling really great, and then I watched one of them. I watched one movie and I felt really, really great. I watched another movie, and I just felt sad.
You know what? Based on my experience from these movies, I have no idea which order you watch them in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
I have no clue.
I have to say that there was only one of them though one of my notes is this is like torture.
Yeah.
And that admittedly is the one by Lopsy Loodle.
Lily Littlehammer. Yeah. There were multiple points in both films. This is my true connecting factor where my jaw was just agape. There was I could not control my bodily extremities. Yeah.
I just imagine you sitting in front of the movie just being like
I mean, there were points in
arms of flail
in Lily Lilyhammer's movie that I was flailing. There was some flailing going on.
Yeah, and Reefer Madness it has such an interesting history because it is a cult movie of its own right. I know I had lots of friends in high school, and I went to an arts high school, so people were smoking lots of the marijuana, and they would watch it and they would get high, and they would have there was like a funny thing to do as a pot smoker in high school, and like I kind of get it. But having seen it finally now for the first time, I don't get it at all because it's not fun. It's not like a fun laugh.
Yeah.
There are a couple moments that you could maybe laugh at if you were high, but
I loved it. I loved every well, no, there were a few moments where I was like, oh, this movie is bad. I thought it was just so over the top, though.
I mean, the whole thing is
Really?
bad, Sean, but it's over the top for sure.
No, I'm with you, Jack. I thought it was going to be like 60 minutes of people just fucking losing their minds, like ripping their hair out, killing each other, like just going nuts. And it wasn't that. It was very subdued. So I felt a little bit let down.
I'm sorry. Sitting behind your sister question mark and screaming faster, faster as she's playing the piano. That's hilarious.
Sure, but name like 3 other times in the movie where it gets to that point.
I mean, all the piano playing is pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, the jazz pianist in the bar. Anyways, yeah.
The kooky piano
Okay,
player.
yes, that's true. That's true. That pianist was fucking cuckoo banana pants.
I mean, we're starting to get into a conversation, but it's just not. I will say it's not what I expected. I expected like a little bit more on-screen stupidness, and it's a lot of like lame, like 1930s sitcom scenes instead, where it's like, hi Tammy, it's like, oh hi Mrs. So and so, like, oh hi there Tommy, it's like, oh we were just studying for our essays coming up for the end of the semester. It's like, oh that's great. Would you two like some hot chocolate? Oh that'd be swell. And I was like, could you please fucking kill me? Like I can't. This is
I
worse.
thought it was hilarious. I thought that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny for like a couple scenes, but when you have to sit and watch 30 minutes straight of it, you start to go like,
You get the madness.
made me want to smoke weed. I'm like, oh, I don't.
Loser.
Dan, give us intros.
All right.
Say something and give us intros.
I'm working on it. In the red corner, representing the classic, a cautionary tale about the dangers of the dread narcotic marijuana and its power to inevitably turn our youth into axe-murdering rapists. Coming in at 65 minutes, starring Dorothy Short and Kenneth Craig, Reefer Madness! And in the blue corner, representing the schlock, a hot, rich, genius serial killer who falls for a petty thief who's come to case her house after she tries to kill him repeatedly, and he finds a way to love her anyway. Coming in at 98 minutes, starring Louise Linton and Ed Westwick, Me, You Madness!
Lopsy loodle.
Can you edit in some crickets?
Yeah,
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
or some 80s music.
Uh,
So first things first, as the two of you have engaged in marijuana, how many people have you killed in your life, by the way? How many hit and runs? How many?
Well, there was that time we both took a jazz cigarette, Daniel, and we went downtown to the speakeasy, and boy, did we light up the town.
Did that really happen? Did we go down to a speakeasy jazz club and
Yeah, don't you remember?
get high?
Instead of a jukebox, there was a piano, and we just tag teamed playing.
Oh my god, I wish that happened.
Yeah.
I wish I could tag team any instrument with somebody. But to answer your question, I've killed like a handful of people.
Right.
Mostly when I'm sober, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. I'm wondering how the drugs are responsible. So your answer
Oh,
is
not at
actually
all.
what I-
No, drugs are all drugs are harmless in my opinion and experience.
That's not the official opinion of this podcast. The official opinion of this podcast is that drugs cause murder, and the
they're coming
only
for your
cure is
children.
abstinence of all sorts. Sorry, what?
Tell your children.
Yeah, your children, they're coming for your children. The nebulous they are coming with the drugs.
Yeah, stay in church, folks. Not in school. Skip
Speaking
school.
of
go to-
church, Reefer Madness kind of felt like it was written and produced by the church.
It was
Am I right?
funded by a church group.
Ah, there you go. That
Oh,
makes
there you
sense.
go. Wow,
Ding,
damn,
ding, ding.
You nailed it, Dan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Did the
done.
sermon yelling at your face give it away?
Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that like all the kids started off as like the epitome of what a church wants you to be as a kid.
Yeah. White.
And that everyone and everyone in the movie looks like people who were recruited at like the local church, just like
Yeah.
old nanas and stuff leaning over to each other, being like, "Oh, that sounds scary. I vote guilty."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guilty.
So it was funded by a church group. Okay, so I'm assuming, Sean, you've done some research on this movie.
Always do.
Because
Yeah.
I am desperate to know some background information on it. Why this movie?
Yeah, it was funded as its initial title was "Tell Your Children," and it was funded by a church group. After it was done being made, it was bought by the producer. He like outright bought the negatives, and he sold it to the like. I forget what the name is, but it's the like circuit of films that were supposed to be like moral guiding films, but because they were supposed to be moralistic, the code people didn't look at them, so that you could slip in like a woman taking off her dress and being in her bra or smoking marijuana and stuff into those films, because it was supposed to be like, don't do this. So the producer who bought it made a killing off of it, just like selling it to all these like exploitation film circuits that were supposed to be like educational. And then it was rediscovered in the 70s when people were smoking a lot of dope.
Wait, so the producer wasn't the church?
The church like was the group that started the fundraising for it, and they got the momentum. They wanted it to be made,
Right.
But then he just bought it from them afterwards.
Okay, and the loophole that he found was a network of film distribution companies that are supposed to be educational.
It's not even distribution companies. It would just be like it would be like the traveling circus back in the day, right? You had a company that would travel around the country, and they would bring the films with them, and they would show them at the local cinemas, and it would be, because there was the code at the time, anything that was, not moralistic, not decent would be stamped and not allowed to be shown to the public, but these could be shown to the public because there was a moral in them. But also you could show kind of side boob.
Oh, very clever.
Oh.
So when it was being shown to people, it wasn't on behalf of the Catholic Church that initially tried to get it off the ground.
No.
Oh, sneaky fucking film producers, eh?
Yeah.
Like right away, someone was like, "Oh, we can."
Yeah, I
This
know.
is gonna be a totally
capitalize
different
on
thing.
this.
We can
Yeah.
make some money.
Okay, so I guess so this was made in the 30s, 20s.
36. It was part of the movement in 1937. They passed the like Marijuana Tax Act, I think it was called, and it was just a tax on marijuana sales. But it was mostly meant to like put marijuana out of reach of people and then criminalize it. So like, oh, I can't afford to buy this and pay the tax, so I'm going to go to the criminals who are selling it without the tax, and then they could criminalize the industry and criminalize minority groups who used it more than white suburbs did. So
All the way
this
back
was,
in the 30s, eh?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't
it's
realize
been
that
going
pot was
on.
such a big deal back then.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
and it was taxed, so it was being
Well, it was-
distributed.
I don't know the details on that. I do know that law was struck down by the Supreme Court because in order to apply for the license, you had to admit that you were selling an illegal drug. So you were incriminating yourself by trying to do what the government was asking you to do by getting the tax license. And they were like, you can't do that. That's a bad law. No.
Everything
Okay.
is broken, eh? Like everything is
Yeah.
weird. Nothing
And
really makes sense.
Doesn't this movie show it? Doesn't are we in our first round?
No, do you want to be?
Oh. Yeah, sure.
Cool. Round one. Story.
Doesn't it show
How does it make you feel? Oh, I forget what I would say.
well?
Begin.
It's a ringing criticism of the American justice system. If anything.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy to like clock that things were so fucked up so long ago, and instead of anyone making any attempt to fix them, we've just like compounded on the
Yeah.
shit for decades and decades.
Well, and just it constantly remains that, like the United States in particular, and still much like including North America, like I guess Canada at least, were founded on very like puritanical terms. Still, like we are still the descendants of that. That like so many things. And we're super Canada, we're super liberal, but it's like if you're like nudity is still like so taboo for the average person, they would like call the police on you if you were lying nude on a beach that you weren't that you're not your body here. Like they would fucking freak out, and it's like the thing that we all have. So it's just it's kind of funny to see it still, and so that mentality has always been about smothering, right? The idea that you can clench your good Christian buttholes and just keep it tight, keep it in, just don't ever do it, and then you'll die one day, and it'll be over. You don't have to
you'll
fight
be
with
with God, and you can do all. Can you do all those things in heaven? Is there a point to not doing them on earth? Like, do you get all the weed you want when you're in heaven? Probably, but
it seems to be what's implied sometimes, right?
do you get to murder unrepentantly in heaven if you don't murder here?
I think you're literally allowed to do whatever you want in heaven with zero consequence.
That sounds like the fucking worst.
But the idea that it does, but the idea I think is that in order to get into heaven, you can't have any hate or evil in your heart, which means that by
you're a
gaining
good
admission,
person.
you wouldn't want to kill anybody. When
If
I
you're
was
just
a kid,
like waiting to start raping, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, the devil's there like, I got you.
when I was a kid and just so deeply entrenched in these like Christian ideologies, my fantasy of heaven was I would just like manifest roller coasters all the time, and then have a house made of crispy bacon that I could and to me that was heaven.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
This is also before the weed smoking, right?
This is before the weed smoking.
That's
After
amazing.
the weed smoking, it was just rape and murder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And surprisingly still crispy bacon.
Yeah.
But to speak to your point,
yeah.
one of the first scenes we get is it's like a couple boys talking to the 45-year-old, 20-year-old, the blondie boy who goes mad. And they're talking to him about a party, and he walks off, and then another boy comes up and he's like, "Oh, you're not talking to him, are you? Oh, his parents got divorced and now he's mostly on his own, so you don't want to be hanging out with that guy." You're like, what?
Oh, I missed that. That's great.
It's fucked.
It's true though. Don't hang around people who have divorced parents. Am I right?
Yeah. Fuck. Jack's here.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's true. We're all fucked.
It's true. Or the madness is in us. So it's so dated in that very particular way. But I think I agree with what you're saying, Dan, though, about how it reflects on like where we're at now. It's like not that long ago, but that was a while ago. Like that's almost 100 years.
That's almost 100 years ago,
which is
kind of crazy to think about when you put it like that. Yeah, almost 100 years ago. And I would say, I mean, I think we've, at least in relation or in regards to pot, we've made some progress. I mean, very, very fucking recently. It took almost 100 years to do it.
Still illegal in the States.
Federally, right?
Federally, yeah.
But most states have legalized it now.
Yeah, but like the feds can fuck you up just if they want to.
Fuck American government. Fuck the American.
Good sentence.
Yeah, fuck. That is 14 years of
America.
Heavy
That's both
pot
of these
smoking,
films.
friends. What?
Seriously.
Fuck American government?
Fuck the American. Yes, mostly because of Lernal's connection to Steve Mnuchin. Yes, go on.
Who is Steve Mnuchin again?
Secretary of the Treasury. Yeah.
Under the previous administration.
Right.
Under 45. Under the orange dumpling.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because there's a whole jab at Republicans in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see what you're doing. I thought she was a Republican.
She sure is.
I mean, are we transitioning a bit to me?
No, we can go back to Reefer Madness.
Yeah,
I was just going to say,
go for it.
I mean, the point that I don't really look at this movie as like a highlighting of how fucked up the system is. It's definitely how fucked up the system was, but I guess my point was just that it's a good snapshot of like the foundation of the entire system. and how you know what I mean, and just the fact that it's just built. The entire thing is built on like a broken spine.
Yeah, and I think more so for me it's the obvious crime. When he runs in with the gun to hit him over the head with the gun, and then he kills poor Mary. Rest in peace, Mary's
Which
dead.
I want to talk about in depth soon.
Of course. But so it's blatantly obvious. And then he frames Billy, and Jimmy was there too, and all that stuff. It's just, it wasn't a well covered up crime. And their ideal version of the American justice system whiffs it and puts the wrong guy on death row until the last fucking moment. Whiffs it. And they're the good guys.
He said he did it.
Yeah.
He
did admit to it.
hallucinated on the hippie hay, all right? He didn't know. He was all jazzed up and he didn't know what he did. And so he said that he did it.
Dude,
But the story that Jack, right? It's Jack, the main criminal guy.
Billy. Oh yeah,
Jimmy?
Jack, yeah.
It is
Jack.
No, it's
Jimmy's
Jack.
Jimmy's the friend. Yeah.
So many stupid names in this movie.
So many stupid names.
Hey,
No, sorry,
that's
but like,
rude.
but
Come
like
on.
Billy, Mary, Jimmy, Jack.
Wayne, I think, is like the blonde.
Wayne is the coolest one of all of them. I
the
mean,
blonde
Jack is also pretty
45-year-old.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. But he comes out and he's like, says to his partner, whatever she is, his girlfriend, partner, whatever. He's like, you call the cops now, and you tell them that a few people came over, and then they started going crazy, and then he pulled a gun and shot her, and that's all you know. I was like, that's not going to hold up. Your place would literally reek of pot.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody knows that they're a pot house too, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who talks about them peripherally is like, you know, those guys. You don't want to go to that place.
Or
like-
they're saying, you seem all right,
Yeah.
which is my favorite
Here's the
code
address.
for- like that's criminal speak is like, you seem all right.
I like that people light up joints, smoke the entire joint, and then other people walk into the room as if there is no horrible smell lingering around.
Yeah.
Just,
Well,
all right, okay.
I
And
love
they
the
don't
fact
just
that
smoke
people
the joints; they like puff them vigorously.
What's crazy to me is that people smoke joints in this movie and have no idea that they're not cigarettes.
Yeah. The first puff, you'd be like, "Oh, this tastes
You'd be like, oh, this
better."
Oh, and also what you're smoking smells a lot not like cigarettes, and this tastes like So
menthol.
But-
yeah, should have had one like menthol line or something.
But they didn't know anything
Yeah.
about it. I think they just probably assumed it was some sort of wacky tobacco, and next thing they knew, they're killing people.
They're on
yeah.
death row.
Also, I just want to tell you, Jack, I'm pretty sure that you just quoted my next tattoo with he hallucinated on the hippie hay. That's going somewhere on my body for sure.
Nice. Forehead.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Forehead or neck, all the way. That's for
Yeah.
sure my next one. Yeah. or like the inside of my lip. I've always wanted a tattoo on the inside of my lip. Is that weird?
No.
I don't know.
It's like
I mean,
hideable.
ouch. I'm
I
gonna
think it
say
goes
ouch.
away after a while.
Get something ironic though, because it goes away, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get like no refunds tattooed on the bottom of your lip.
That's good. I was gonna get like I love Jesus or I love Jesus on the top lip and then sit on my face on the bottom lip.
All right. Be close to Jesus,
Sit on
yeah.
my face. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to get on the bottom lip.
That's-
They had to be
yeah,
up
that-
It would-
close to read
It
that.
would be in cursive if that
Use your
helps.
magnifying glass.
It doesn't help.
It makes it actually a lot thicker. I
It's a
think.
lot worse. It's just more convoluted, Yeah. So, I mean,
But
yeah.
overall, I think that your first point, Jack, was the most poignant in that this movie I have heard of as like the first nail in the coffin against pot legally, and it like kickstarted a whole movement, and it's just fucking like bonkers. So I expected it to be like a laugh riot of insanity. And the fact that like there was barely any music and like for the most part people were like pretty fucking chill when they were stoned, except for like the couple of times they weren't. And they talk about it as if it drives you fucking insane, but then people are just like getting high and then the next day they're just like kind of hungover. I thought people were like, we're gonna take a puff and then fucking like stab the person next to them
Right.
and then run out of the room screaming like their hair's on fire. Like I thought
I
it was
did
gonna
want a
be
bit
fucked.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I it was kind of disappointing in that way. I
Oh,
wanted so much
got
more
close.
from
It got close.
all I was thinking through this was like, I wish this was a film we were watching together, because the banter that you put over with your friends is way more enjoyable than the film that's happening.
Definitely an odd movie to watch alone. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
That's not a recommend for listeners. Don't do it.
Unless
find
you're
a friend.
stoned. Unless you're gonna get high,
you're
because
stoned.
then, I mean, anything works when you're stoned. But okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was
Jack.
gonna say,
You hang
speaking
up.
of that, like of endorsing weed, I thought the opening text crawl sounded like a modern endorsement for weed. It's like you're gonna laugh a lot, then you're gonna see things,
Yeah,
and
violently.
and then you're just gonna lose. You're like not gonna be connected with your emotions. And people are like,
That
sounds
amazing.
That's
great.
awesome, man.
Where can I
Yeah.
get one? Where can I? And they showed that, like, this is how weed is made and rolled. I was like,
shit.
what? I
Cool.
can't believe that's in this movie. Using this nifty contraption that you can buy from this address. Just send your box tops and
Yep.
And it also gives you like a bunch of really clever suggestions for hiding spots for your pod.
it does.
They cut out inside of a book.
Especially
false
the
teeth.
heel of a woman's shoe.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant that was ever presented as serious film subject matter.
Yeah.
I just, it's hilarious. I laughed a lot in this hour-long film.
I don't think I laughed once,
Oh,
but I
man.
was saddened by the thought that this movie ever had any influence over the general public.
I don't think it really did.
It would have
Like-
had to in the 30s.
Ooh.
A movie
Yeah.
about a drug that most people don't understand.
I mean, yeah, definitely with Suburbia.
Yeah,
guess.
and I think we forget how influential media used to be. It's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
influential.
It still is, yeah.
But in a different way, right? Like now they have to really trick us. Whereas back in the 30s, if you saw something on TV that said like Asian people kill cats and throw them at your house, and that's why you need to vote Republican, they'd be like, "Oh fuck!"
That's
like it was
right.
on
I have
TV.
noticed an increase in Asian cat throwings.
Yeah, like the 30s were weird. That's not me. That's them.
Yeah, that is
You know-
straight from the headlines.
But there wasn't as much precedent yet for people not to like be like, that sounds like bullshit, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
people got freaked out even until recently, right? Like people get freaked out by what they see on movies, and especially churchgoers. Fuck, they're freaked out by everything. They're
Harry Potter.
scared by Harry Potter, SpongeBob.
Harry Potter was the biggest the biggest thing lacking from my childhood, I think, because of my Christian upbringing.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
heathens.
it's very sad.
The
Dark
heathen
magic.
J.K. Rowling. My favorite line. Oh, don't you want to learn anything about running a home? The answer is no. And then they sit down like 16-year-olds do.
And then he
There-
talks about what does he talk about? He talks about some like witty banter he had about adding too much olive oil to a salad or something, which was hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Fucking great.
Isn't there? This is Jack and the
Mary.
other
Billy and Mary, I think.
Was it Billy and Mary?
Yeah, when they're talking just before
Really?
they talk Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, that's that scene. Oh my god, I thought it was the drug
Yep.
dealers. The drug dealers have cool interactions where he walks in and
yeah.
he says something, and then she's like, "Oh, do we have to?" And he's like, "Oh, button your lip, huh? Like, why don't you got to smack across the face if I hear?" Like, it's like right away he tells her to shut up and
Yeah.
make herself look nice. or
Yeah, she's
something.
asleep in bed, and he walks in, and the first thing he says to her is like, "Get out of bed. The place looks like a bull ran through it," or something like that. And it's just like, okay, this is who he is.
And I wondered, he had all kinds of like funny mannerisms. He was like walk acting. He was like acting his walk as he walked. Like a
Yeah.
step and another one and another one. Good, I'm here. Was he supposed to like look like a bad guy from like a 1930s perspective? Like would someone
Yeah.
at that time be like, "Oh, that's a mafia"?
He was
type
supposed to
guy?
look like an Italian.
Oh shit. Are they allowed in?
Well,
Dan,
they
you're
are.
something.
Mediterranean.
Do you know? Yeah.
I'm actually not even sure what I am. Are they allowed in? The
That's not
answer unequivocally.
Don't run with that joke. Don't run with that joke. That's not the joke we're running with.
Not the joke. So then we have Miyu Madness.
Oh, a masterpiece of neoconservative filmmaking.
A movie that disappointed me in
Right.
in a very different way, because I think that Miyu Madness is actually a huge missed opportunity. There is something there. There is a good movie in that idea, in the
It's
right
called American
hands.
Psycho.
Yeah, and
No,
Ferris
no.
Bueller
Yeah.
and Risky
But yeah,
Business.
okay, so that's if that's the pitch, that's
There
a
are many
fantastic
good
pitch.
ideas from many good movies in there.
No,
I agree.
but here's this is my point, is that most movies are derivative.
Yeah, totally.
Fine. If you're in a fucking network exec's office and you say, "Hey, I want to make American Psycho meets Ferris Bueller's Day Off," that's
Great.
a fucking great idea.
It's a good
That's
pitch.
a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking pitch.
It should not be executed. It should not be written, produced, starring, and directed by the same person.
Directed, yeah.
Yeah.
That was directed by
Sure as shooting was.
Lopperton.
By
was.
Linda Lamilton.
Okay, because that makes sense. Because one of my notes is this movie looks like it was directed by a commercial director and
Just a bad
shot by an
artist.
amateur DP. Like it's
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't have any idea what like films are supposed to look like.
No.
Except that there's
trailer
a lot
makes
of
it
neon
seem-
lights.
The trailer uses every single great half-second image. And it makes you believe, like, I thought, okay, I think this film legitimately could win the looks, hands down, because based on the trailer, it looks like someone at least had an eye for color, had an eye for framing. I guess this
Sometimes.
is different thing. Well,
Yeah,
we'll get
we'll-
into it. And
We'll get
it
into
failed.
that, but I didn't realize that it was that she was like a one man fucking. Is it auteur? Is that the name? Is that the word for it?
Auteur, yeah.
Auteur.
I think that would be
An
the
otter.
word to describe her. Is an
That's
otter.
certainly
A
what
one-man
she
otter.
thinks she is.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It was a desperate cry for help. This film is a desperate cry for help.
And it almost has a story from the Frankenstein that it
Yeah.
is, but it is also not a story at all.
No.
The fact that it goes
think
on
I
for an hour and a
disagree.
halp.
I think I disagree. I think there is a story. It's just so poorly
Yeah.
executed.
There's no substance to it.
Right, but the story, the idea, I think is actually pretty good. And right on time. American Psycho starring a woman in 2021, but all done with like the retro color scheme and like
The think tank they brought this idea to sure liked those ideas.
But you know what I mean? Like the beats are right. It's just
Yeah.
that it was so horribly handled that you end up with like this fucking dumpster fire where it could have actually been like there were some points in this movie that I thought were legitimately funny and charming. Like there's potential that is just
couple.
wasted.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, like the manicure guy. I was engaged by him.
Yeah, until they had him spew
Yeah.
conservative
Oh
talking
yeah, no one
points.
works anymore. Isn't it great when she just nonchalantly throws in points like we should be killing all our criminals because it saves the taxpayer money?
Yeah. Murder good.
Fuck yeah.
It's
I didn't even put that like those two things together until right now, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's problematic. Yeah.
She
There's
says
a-
it. She straight up says it that she's doing us a
favor.
favor.
yeah, she's helping the American people.
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk about that. There's something I want to talk about that too. I didn't realize, first of all, that this is written and directed by her when I first was watching it. And then when I saw the end, I was like, holy shit. Which makes a lot of sense because she can't write.
Yeah.
And
No.
she spends a lot of time in the movie where she as a character looks at the camera and tells us about other movies that are better. And
Yep.
she starts listing other action movies, and you're like, yeah, I wish I was watching Atomic Blonde. Yeah, I wish I was. Yeah, I
Oh,
want to
man.
watch The Matrix. What are you doing? Why are you
Any of them took a 2-week fight training course, and they at least understood how to throw a fucking punch.
She
Jesus
couldn't make a
Christ.
fist. It was real rough.
Oh.
A lot of this, and But that makes sense though, because she didn't know how to like finish scenes. So they would start to sort of fight, and then it would kind of spin its wheels, and then multiple times they'd go, "Can we just take a break? Can we grab some water?" And it was meant to be kind of funny, but then she did it like 3 or 4 times, and it's like, oh, you just don't know. You just wanted your movie to keep happening.
But the first time it was a fun idea. That's a great example of what I'm talking about. Like, that's a funny thing to throw into a fight scene that doesn't really make sense, but for the world you're creating, it fits perfectly.
But she had enough creativity to think, oh, this could be fun for me, but not enough creativity to explore it.
Right.
And this film is just a series of beats where you go, here's an idea that you threw into the lake. Okay. And another one you threw into the lake. All right. That's great. Fantastic. Just so unimaginative.
Don't forget, though, there's also 7 brilliant dance numbers in this movie.
It's true. They are all
Did you count
shot
them?
at foot level.
There's 7. There are fucking 7. There's 4 in the first 30 minutes of the film. Then there's one more. Then there's another one where she's. I don't remember all of them specifically, but then as soon as I was done writing it, they cut to another one where he is now dancing through the kitchen for no fucking reason. They've established that this guy is just a bro,
right? And
just
she's
like
murdering the guy in the parking
lot.
garage, where she leaves no evidence because she's very careful as she bashes a man's brains into the cement.
I was like, parking lots have cameras.
Yeah.
For sure.
and like people walking through them.
Yeah. You were at like a popular fitness place a second ago.
Yeah. What about the other people that were?
Though.
His dance solo was fun, but made no fucking sense in the context of this film.
Nope. They'd known each other for 12 hours at that point, and they were deeply involved.
Just also the character. Why is he like? What's a word you would use to describe how he was dancing, Jack? I don't want to say effeminately because that's not really it. But there was a certain quality to his movements that
delicately?
did not, maybe delicately, but
I wouldn't call it that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you like. It wasn't hip hop. He was trying to do a somewhat contemporary,
bit of like a flash dance kind of thing happening.
Sort of flash. Yeah, sure. We could say flash dancey. Sure.
Right. Which is not fitting at all for like a fucking bro.
No.
But like whatever. Who cares? That's his. He was alone. You know. They make some jokes about him being. He likes wearing jewelry and he puts on her pink robe.
Good
and
on him.
He wants to dance because he's feeling in love. Fuck it, that's the character. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Whatever. It's not overly.
Okay.
It's a
Sorry, Jack, I
smattering.
didn't mean
I'm
to-
sorry we ruined
Sorry.
your favorite film.
I didn't mean to.
I love this
such a nerve with
movie.
you.
I do actually kind of love this movie. I never want to see it ever again in my life, but maybe with people. Although I think this movie is going to achieve some serious cult status.
I completely agree.
Of like what we all watch after the guillotines have been cleaned from the public square.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things in it that are. So first, I'll mention this, and I'll get to the larger point. Just like little things that it's like it doesn't know what it's doing, and what it has. It lacks a self-awareness that makes it so perfect for cult status, I think. And it wants to be self-aware, and not in the way that it wants.
It's
so like
so
little
thirsty.
things like. So thirsty, but like Ed Westwick was what super accused of like raping people
By 3
assaulting.
people, yeah.
So like
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
So that scene on the couch?
That's why he's in this movie.
And that's why they wrote that scene on the couch where she assaults him and is like, it's okay.
I also thought it was awkward when
Okay.
he's going through the freezer of fucking 25 bodies apparently. And he's like, what did this one do? What did he do? And he's like, oh, child porn. And he's like, rapist. And I was like, oh,
Ed?
So I thought that was pretty awkward. Anyway, but the big overarching point, and in a similar way to what Reefer Madness is, this movie already reads as like a hilarious parody of conservative culture.
Yeah.
It is completely insane.
Yeah.
All the moments where she looks directly at the camera, or it finishes with Ed Westwick looking directly up from bed, being like, I look forward to rejoining the workforce and climbing the corporate ladder, are truly laughable as they are immediate parody points.
I was so sad by that point in the film. I was just so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. My brain was like actively trying to reject what was happening after like the 50-minute mark, and my computer too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
yeah,
no, we're done with this.
Yeah, dude, it hit a wall where like no matter how many times I refreshed the screen, it just was not fucking buffering. It was like, you are done. You are done watching this now.
Actually, 50 minutes is when I checked to see how much time was left, because I was starting to squirm, and there were 40 minutes still, and I was like,
because that's just at the start of the many like slow cat and mouse games through her house begin.
she literally, just to finish my point, she literally masturbates to the stock market.
Yep. So American Psycho, she completely plagiarizes American Psycho for a lot of the like tearaway tangents of like, oh, I do this with my makeup routine, and in the morning I drink this to make sure that blah 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 blah. Just stolen verbatim almost from American Psycho. But American Psycho is putting up this human being who is a social monster and showing it like, here's what happens when you dedicate your life to beauty and material wealth and possession. This is an extreme version of that. And this movie takes that exact same example and says, isn't this cool? Don't you want it?
Isn't conservatism cool now?
Yeah.
Like, we also, conservatives now dig three-ways and Molly. We're the new punk rock. Check us out.
The least sexy threesome I've ever seen.
So I think I actually wrote that down like word for word. Just the most fucking boring three-way ever.
Oh, have fun with him. No one's having fun here, man.
By how she was like choosing to portray herself in this movie, like constantly objectifying herself. She's 40, by the way. I looked it up just because this movie makes such a big point about not knowing what her age is. She's 40. So I'm just saying that so anyone who knows it knows it.
I mean, I don't like her, but she looks insanely good for 40.
Yeah, but most of her probably is only a few years old. So
that's a good point. Fair.
So don't forget.
Fair.
Yeah.
But also probably working hard. So if you had all the time and money, and
when you have
psycho.
Steve Mnuchin money, you can. Her family owns a castle in Edinburgh, in Scotland. She's from Scottish nobility. She is a Scottish noble who decided she wanted to act, and her daddy and her husbands made sure she got roles and things. And now she owns a production company.
Oh, is she Storm Chasers?
Yeah.
Good name for a company, I will say.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's bullshit.
So they make a point at the end where Ed Westwick is like, even though I had this comfortable lifestyle, I work hard to climb the corporate ladder like I did.
Yeah.
I earned this.
It literally does not matter that there are cut up body parts in my freezer. I am good for the economy.
And making money is good. So that's the dilemma here. Yeah. It's like I kill people, but
taxpayers.
Well, and now she helps people put their foot on pedals in spin class. She's a contributing member of society, both financially and moralistically.
It's a great hero's journey.
What's one of the lines too at the end where she's like, I don't think we should judge people based on their political and social views. We should just be kinder
to everyone. The moment when she begs us not to say anything bad about her. Begs us.
Yeah, but if you're just, by the way, FYI, if your like moral or political view, however you want to think about it, is that poor people should die, like
fuck you,
fuck you, like fuck you.
Just
so
wee little thought there. Yeah, did you love the moment also, knowing now that she wrote it? When Ed Westwick looks to camera and breaks the fourth wall, and he says, "Whoever wrote this is a genius."
Oh, gross.
And I went, oh, that makes me angry. And then I went, wait a minute, are you just pissed off because this is a female-driven film that is using tropes that you're used to in male-driven films? Quentin Tarantino, end of fucking Inglourious Bastards, he says, this is my masterpiece. Nope, that moment pissed me off too. So I'm going to be very mad about this.
Now, I have to ask you, Sean, do you often find yourself angry at female-driven movies?
No, but I check with myself to make sure that's not a thing.
Oh, look at you doing the work. Good for you, buddy.
I'm an ally.
So all that to say, though, both of these movies are like, one has grown to be a send up of itself, and one movie is, in my opinion, immediately a send up of itself.
Yeah.
This movie, like Me You Madness, is such a condemnation of everything wrong with American capitalist conservatism. It is everything wrong. Everything about it is like pure evil from start to finish. It's completely fucked up, crazy.
Yeah. And sadly, I think you were right earlier in that it is also destined for a massive cult following.
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I think this thing. I
don't know,
disagree.
man. This movie had like on a lot of levels. This is like The Room quality bad, and that movie is doing like cinema tours, like internationally, fucking or they were before the pandemic.
Right. This has a rich person who is not going to allow her baby to be mocked for money.
Sure, but I mean, that doesn't stop people from pirating the film, not paying a cent, and
but you're not
going to
get
popular.
Like midnight showings of this at the local Cineplex.
I don't know, man. Narcissists have a way of what's the word I'm looking for? They have a way of abandoning their morals when it comes to getting famous.
To making I guess. But she's already, I don't know. She really wants to be a leading female actor in Hollywood.
Oh, but that's not going to happen ever.
No.
But that is also to my point. She desperately wants to be a leading female actor.
They gave The Room guy an Oscar, or they let him go to the Oscars. So
that's what I'm saying. if this is her road to recognition for a movie, that she can like take credit. Maybe she could even like take ownership of how bad it is and say it was intentional or whatever it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. If at the end of the day, if Lonzy Limpleg becomes a household name, then mission accomplished. Like that's really it. She just wants to be a celebrity for acting.
Yeah.
And she can always try and do the thing too, where she goes, yeah, I meant to do it. I was clearly winking at the camera as I was, and I had myself farting in Ed Westwick's face, and farty sounds multiple times.
Farts are funny.
I'm a comedian. I meant to do that, she'll say.
Yeah. And if you disagree with me, you're just one of those terrible sexists that the liberals are hiding.
Yeah.
I'm going to close out my remarks on this by quoting one of Lerma Limbleton's best friends from childhood. And I think this sums up exactly what this movie is. Lernal was blessed and fortunate enough to be raised in a Scottish castle and to not understand the reality of some human beings with a different background.
That was her childhood best friend?
That is a childhood friend.
Great.
So... is a psychopath.
Correct.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Like many
literally
people.
Nobility.
Yeah, like many people born into levels of noble wealth.
Well, I think that feels like a natural break.
End of round.
There you go.
Moving into our second round, looks. Huh?
Did
How'd
they get
make you? What? No,
I'm just throwing in.
How'd they make you feel?
Okay.
On the inside.
Oh, that
Daniel.
made me so uncomfortable.
Nice.
Yeah. So now that we've discussed Me You Madness a little bit, I'm kind of torn because there were moments in that movie that I thought deserved a bit of credit. But now understanding the production process, I want to condemn everything about it. But I find it very hard to say anything good about the looks of Reefer Madness because it was clearly shot poorly on like a studio soundstage.
On like the first camera ever made.
On the first camera ever made. It has some of the most atrocious editing that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Just like after random lines and stuff.
Yeah, and just like there's like a scene where someone just like lifts something to their face and it's like 4 different choppy cuts to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a conversation where he like straight up like shifts position on the couch like 6 times in 10 seconds.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, Reefer Madness is like visually mediocre at fucking best, at the best of times.
Yeah.
Miyu Madness likes to kind of play the extremes of the spectrum a little more, because there are some like the DP who shot that film has little understanding of light, or at least like blocking light, and also doesn't realize you don't fucking shoot a scene in a windstorm.
Oh, we're getting blown away out here.
And someone who thinks that like just throwing pink and blue light everywhere is enough to make a fucking movie.
Or shooting a house that is all white and having your characters wear all white and have the light be white light.
Yeah. Yeah. And have like no concept of contrast or like separating anything from anything else. It was brutal. And like having all these like awful, and here's the thing. There's some stuff that looks like it was shot for a fucking commercial. And I get that like that's also kind of part of the movie where she's like,
was it all the car bits?
Was it all the commercials for clothes
for
and
Mustangs
Peloton and
yeah,
cars?
but that's what I mean. So like some of it obviously I think was supposed to be intentional, but even the opening shot looked like a fucking like Shutterstock, like stock footage scene you would see for like a fucking accounting firm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But there was some fun stuff in there also. I thought the Michael Bay garage was kind of fun.
Oh, I don't know by then. When she said, I never drive any of these cars, I was like, I can't hate you any more than I already do.
I mean, way before that. I mean, like her actual garage where she keeps the fucking freezer of dead bodies.
Where the chainsaw is on the wall and she picks it up and it's not plugged in, and then it cuts and then it's plugged in again and she's holding the on chainsaw.
I did not catch that, but probably the same scene. Yeah, and just like there's some moments didn't suck terribly and actually looked fairly cinematic. So it's kind of like one had really shit moments and like some decent moments. One had like just kind of walked the line of this is almost always trash.
In terms of 30s filmmaking, the old man getting hit by the car was probably really well done for 1936.
Maybe.
Because I was like, oh, did he go under? Oh, no, he clearly didn't. But I was fooled momentarily.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, clearly it was obvious that the car was just driving past him and he just like fell beside it. Yeah. But there was a split second where I was like, holy fuck, did that guy just roll into the car?
Because Jimmy was mad on the weed.
He's I'm all hot to go, he said. I'm red hot.
I'm red hot, yeah.
I'm red hot. Let's go. I'm Jimmy. They had a nice little. They used focusing and unfocusing to show him hallucinating pretty well. That was a clever use of early camera tech.
I don't know what it would have been there, but just like twisting the lens forward and on.
Just moving it forwards and backwards.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I'm not a movie maker.
I read the director's Wikipedia page real briefly, and it's essentially he's universally loved and hated for making films that are really not complicated and just like try to tell a story, but he has no visual eye or any creativity whatsoever.
That was the guy that shot this?
That directed it, yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, kids, anyone can do anything. Never stop believing in yourself.
I mean, that might be the takeaway from this entire thing.
I think
Look at
so.
fucking Limpy Loose Nuts.
Have
Limpy loose nuts.
have the social security to have your higher education paid for by someone else. Finish that, and through your social connections, enter the workforce and climb the corporate ladder. I think is the real message of this week. And if you do that, and you work hard,
Yeah, you
you
can
will
kill anyone
succeed.
you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if people without those things work just as hard or harder than you and don't get those things, fuck them. They're lazy. So they should probably die to save our prisons money.
I also love, going back a little bit, I love that her only understanding of being in business is that you buy and sell stocks. That was the only thing her character did for the business. So she also doesn't understand the economy at all.
Well, not that we saw in the film, certainly not.
Yeah. But
I mean,
no one's job is just to be like, no one who runs a company is only on call to buy and sell stocks.
Okay. I will admit that I don't know enough about the stock market to answer this question myself, but she runs a hedge fund, right?
I don't know. That detail escaped me. That makes more sense, I guess.
That was her job.
But I feel like it's still more complicated than just buy and sell.
I don't know that there's much more. I mean, like, you have to know the market, but she has people who are watching it for her.
Yeah, she's masturbating to it as well.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
that's
she
true.
she knows it really well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, point rescinded then.
Yeah. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Sorry,
and this
now I
movie
just have to
nails
vote.
the economics.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Looks. I wrote that this movie looks like my eyes did cocaine.
The amount of times that it really is trying to show off glamour, which is the whole movie, right? It's this trying to, like, it wants us to go like, wow, like this is awesome, like this is my Malibu dream. And to me, it's a nightmare because I'm a dirty socialist, and I think if you have boots, if you have shoes that cost over $1,000, you probably suck.
Yeah.
And if you have a piece of jewelry that's over $1 million, you're a really shitty person.
You're kind of the worst.
It's a really easy metric, by the way, if you want to like learn. Like, it's disappointing when you're like, oh, I really admire this athlete, and you're like, said athlete just bought $1 million watch. It's like, too bad they suck.
Yeah.
So it's this movie just made me want to vomit all the time because every shot is trying to show off her fancy fashion, the jewelry, the cars, the shoes. Like, she changes outfits like 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day
Within
according to
10
this movie?
seconds. Within 10 like they'll leave a room, enter another room. So it was a bit, right? This, like,
a bit.
she's
It's
doing
conscious.
bits.
Because he says it. He's like, you changed? And
Yeah.
she was like, you were out for a long time. I got bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So- Reefer Madness is just nothing.
So here's a question for you. Back to your metric
Here's a story
or, your,
for you.
or
Yes.
your barometer of how if a person is shitty or not.
Yeah.
Is a person still shitty
Yeah.
Yes.
if they spend $1 million on a watch
Yeah.
but have
Yes.
donated 50% of their money to various charities?
Yes.
Yes.
Explain.
Get rid of that money
Si-
too. You don't need that watch. Who needs that watch?
But okay, but don't you think that somebody who is by and large pretty philanthropic also deserves to spend some of their money the way they want to?
Sure, but why do you want it?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, who are we to say why someone should want something or not? If they're, say, someone's a billionaire, they've given away 70% of their income.
Name me one billionaire that has ever done that.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if I'm just trying to find the
in
kind of
Fantasyland.
the boundaries of this barometer here.
All
Is
right,
is it just is it just someone, if you spend a lot of money on stuff, you suck, or is there like some wiggle room there?
We're past the problem. If you have already made the efforts in your life to suction let's just say $1 billion towards yourself and away from other people, you are already a terrible person.
You're creating jobs, though, Jack. Come on, think of the jobs.
What if you're
You
an
can create
athlete?
jobs without. Sorry, what?
What if you're an athlete? Like the example
I
you
think
gave.
athletes are criminally overpaid.
Sure, but they're not like stepping on other people's fucking toes to get that money. They're just taking contracts that are offered to them.
Yeah, that's the corporation. The corporation shouldn't have that much money. It shouldn't cost $300 goddamn to buy a nosebleed ticket at the Toronto Maple Leafs game.
I agree. I agree. I'm not like on one side of the argument or the other. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of reasons why those things wouldn't have to be if people just went, no, it's okay. I don't need to be paid that much money, because that is dare I say, a sin.
This watch could also feed a small village for a year. Maybe this watch is a bad investment.
Yeah.
So you guys feel like people just shouldn't make a lot of money ever, really ever?
Over a certain amount, yeah, you're bad.
What do you consider a lot of money?
Yeah.
Like in the millions.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, like if you've made, look, if you have $10 million sitting in an account and you don't stash it away for it not to be taxed, like if you've paid proper taxes on it all the way through, that's like, honestly, in the global scale of wealth inequality, not so bad. If you are starting to get more and more into the tens of millions, yeah, I think that is. I think that's morally bankrupt.
Yeah, but also the tax rate should be higher. Like over $1 million, it should be like 50%, and then like over 10 million, it should be like 75% for personal wealth.
I want the tax rate to not have to be higher, because people would find it ridiculous to amass that much wealth for themselves. Is what I want.
That's our beautiful utopia. But here we
know.
are
Fuck me, though.
in Lernal Landlefell's wet dream.
Yeah.
And Reefer Madness looks like a shitty movie from 1936.
Yeah. I mean, what do you even talk about for a movie like Reefer Madness in regards to looks? Like the production design was fine. The cinematography sucked.
Oh, the noose. Oh, fuck. When the light switch is swinging in the middle of the scene, and I had no idea why it was doing that, and I was getting angrier and angrier at whoever put this in the fucking front, and then it turned into a noose, and I got angrier.
Okay, so let's unpack that for a second. Why did it turn into a noose? Was it him realizing that he was going to put a young person to death needlessly, or was it him glorifying the death sentence and the system?
I think the former.
It was a moment of conscience.
Yeah,
but then he still pushes for his guilt.
Well, and he's hallucinating on the ganjaj.
No, what?
Wait,
no, he's
was
not.
he?
No.
Who had that?
The foreman?
Who had that?
It was the
The
foreman.
foreman
of the jury.
in the jury room.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a 40-year-old, 25-year-old blonde dude. Oh, that was in the jury. Oh shit.
Yeah.
He's jazzing out. He's lost his mind to the weed, to the dope.
The foreman?
No.
No.
Friend.
No,
The-
jazz dude. Yes.
The 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right, that scene, I thought that was somewhere else in the movie. Right.
Crazy. Well, that's all I've got for that one.
All right, well, end of round.
Ding ding.
End of round. Moving into our third round. Sounds. Did the sound and the way that you wanted sound to happen? Begin. Is it the bells are? I forget where the bells are today. So You Me Madness. You Me Madness. I'll say this. We get it. You're from the 80s, and you like 80s music. You like 80s movies. Late 80s. You like movies and music from the late 80s and early 90s. We get it. We know that you're 40 because of your movie tastes and your music tastes. We get it. Thank you. I've also aware of Risky Business and Ferris Bueller and American Psycho. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my God, you're playing Oh Yeah? Oh yeah. As she's getting in the car.
Bomp.
That's awesome. I've seen Ferris Bueller. No, that's cool though. Like I get it. He's dancing. Wait, in his socks around the house or whatever. That's cool. I've seen Risky Business, and also I've seen American Psycho. Actually, I haven't seen Risky Business, but I get the idea.
You've seen that scene in every
Correct.
Oscars presentation since 1989.
Correct. So the sound of Yumi Madness is the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it for sure won points with me for Mbao Bao, as I call it.
Mabao.
Mbao Bao, Mbao Bao.
Bomp, bomp.
Yeah, so it's that song never doesn't make me happy.
It's a great song.
It's a fucking great song. You put that anywhere, and I'm immediately into whatever is going on.
I think it's the only song where no other song sounds like it in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking perfect.
It's such a unique song. Nothing else sounds like it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I didn't mind. Like, I'm always so conflicted when we talk about these movies that just like throw in these popular songs that everyone loves, kind of fucking willy-nilly, because it shows zero creativity, but they're also fucking great songs that like just make my life better in the moment, despite what else is happening in the movie.
Correct.
Right?
You can just put on YouTube and listen to the song, though, right?
I could. Well, I mean, I didn't watch this movie by choice. So
Yeah, some asshole told you to.
But yeah, you can't be mad at people for giving you things that you like.
I can be mad at somebody trying to capitalize on a cinematic trend and fucking just like shitting the bed with it.
There it is.
Yeah. And that's what's happening here. From all the neon lights to all the 80s music. Like she's watched a YouTube video about like 80s trendiness in cinema.
She saw Atomic Blonde and she really liked it.
100 fucking percent.
That movie gets 2 or 3 shout outs. Okay.
She went to the Wikipedia page and looked at a list of movies that existed in her lifetime, and she read them.
Yeah. Atomic Blonde had a neon logo for the movie.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's in
true.
the 80s. It's during the Cold War.
And everybody saw it, so it really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you're welcome, I guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome, everyone.
Lindelbat Loveflow?
Low flow.
Low flow toilet. Lindelblatt low flow toilet.
Lindelblatt low flow. But at least it has the benefit of having music, whereas Reefer Madness is painfully underscored. That's only changed by the fact that everyone in the movie is also a classically trained pianist, and any character at any time can jump on the old piano and play a tune for us.
Faster.
Which is kind of hilarious that one of the central points of Reefer Madness is that pot makes you bad at stuff and fucking slower than you normally are, but people
actually,
are just piano wizards.
Yeah,
when they're high.
An abstraction from space and time.
It does kind of help though. Like, I've played gigs a little soft, and like you lose your inhibitions. It's the same with like having a beer.
100%. 100%. In reality, it is totally right. What I'm saying is, in the movie, it shouldn't be.
No.
Right?
No, you're
like
right. They're showing what is real. You're showing an extreme version of what is true. Is that like you could possibly be a little bit better because you lose that little voice in your head that's criticizing you all the time. It just goes away, and you're kind of mentally healthy. And I don't know where I was going with that. That was a bad. I watched Bo Burnham a lot the last week.
I think you just admitted that you're a pot addict, Sean.
Oh dear.
The only time I'm mentally healthy is when I'm stoned.
Well, I feel like I should counter that with what my grade 9 music teacher told us, which is that, in his opinion, weed actually did slow you down. So weed wasn't what you wanted to do if you're playing music. Actually, cocaine is.
Did he really tell you that in grade 9?
Yeah. He said that to my class in grade 9. Yeah.
I mean, that's also got to be true. I think drugs in general have an amazing way of making you a better artist.
They let you think outside of your normal brainwaves.
He wasn't making a joke. He had long hair down to his shoulders. He was this old jazz goon who found his way into the teaching circuit at this high school. and was like a mainstay of the school for like 20 years. And like totally unironically was just like, yeah, no, weed's not so good, honestly. Like cocaine is better.
Oh, better. Did he get his career start playing at the local youth dance hall?
I mean, that's possible. That's possible. So it's just tricky. So Reefer Madness has like no music, and the sound is great. Like it doesn't have many legs in this category.
No.
For me.
Not a lot.
And another fucking missed opportunity. Imagine how much fun you could have had with music as someone is like slowly descending into literal madness. You see glimpses of it at the very end before that woman fucking jumps out the window.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But there could have been way more of that. Imagine the creepy shit you could have put in this movie as somebody is just fucking spiralling.
I love the
You know
dummy.
what I mean?
The
Or
dummy
just
body.
Or just like maniacal laughter. Oh yeah, the dummy body was ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was just so many fun places this movie could have gone and still like maintained its message, and it just let me down. It let me down.
The movies let us down.
Isn't there like some music playing over the dude proselytizing at the end? Is there music?
I think it swells up. There's also music during the prologue as well, which I thought was pretty fucking hilarious because it was exactly what you think that this moralistic diatribe would be backed by.
Da, da, da.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
It's like ravage is ravaging our youth. Marijuana.
Mara was spelled with an H. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Marijuana.
Marijuana.
But still pronounced marijuana.
Yeah.
Except for the one guy who said marijuana. The judge, I think, is who said that.
Yeah.
I think this movie. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I was just gonna say there was a great moment randomly just made me think of speaking because the guy who's like trying to teach us the moral lesson is also in the movie as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but he's giving an announcement or a speech to the student body.
Right.
No, he's not. I lied.
To the parents.
No, he's giving it to
parents.
Yeah.
To the parents, so the teacher
parents.
or the parent teacher, whatever. Or yeah. So, but there's a moment where he has. Is it Jimmy? He has no. It's not Jimmy. It's the other one.
Billy's
the one who killed
the main guy. Yeah.
Billy. It has Billy in, and he's asking him if everything's okay, and he like knows that he's on the reefer, but he reaches out and he's like, "Well, if you ever need to reach out and talk to anyone, like you always can talk to me." And he gives him like these 3 awkward pats on the shoulder and his arm. He doesn't really know how to bring it down. He's like slowly lowers it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about it. It's great.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's all I'm saying.
I think that Reefer Madness needed about 50% more Bob Marley.
Sure. Hey.
Or maybe some like really fucking gangster shit. Like 95, like mid 90s DMX.
Sure.
Or some fucking NWA.
I bet there's a festival you can go to that screens it with that.
There's gotta be. But just like some fucking real pot smoking, like Snoop Dogg, like early 90s Snoop Dogg. Would have been amazing in this movie.
So like they're at the drug den and they're like, oh, like Jimmy, play us a tune. And he's like, oh, I'll whip something up.
Yeah.
And he's just like starts doing some DMX.
Because he smokes the weed and he's insane.
I would have loved that actually.
Give a dog a bone.
I would watch Reefer Madness once a week if that was the score.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rest in peace, DMX.
I'll cut that together.
R.I.P. DMX.
Yeah, that's sad.
You know,
Gone too soon, man.
lived a tough life.
He did actually.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it because it was a super fucking tough life.
Yeah.
He meant a lot to people that came from a tough life too. But
narration bad. That's my point.
Yeah.
Narration bad narration.
And that's the thing too, that the sound we can't ignore. Like it's kind of the script, but also in Yumi Madness is that all the time she spends talking to the camera, which the very first part of it, there's music over top and I couldn't hear it. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, she's British, Irish, jury's out. And now you're telling me she's Scottish?
Yes, she's Scottish, but she was educated in England.
Right.
Yeah.
So they beat the Scottish out of her. She doesn't really sound Scottish. She sounds English.
there's little bits of it in there, so she sounds more English, but she's also trying to harden it for an American ear as well.
She sounds straight up Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there are parts where that it all mixes together to
She's
be.
like, oh, I manage. She's like, oh, I manage a hedge fund, and that's why the people here, I'll crush your balls with a vice grip. I'm a person working in America.
It's partly her acting reel too, so she needs to show you all the accents she can do throughout the film. Yeah,
Or isn't Ed Westwick actually like British or something?
he is. Yeah,
His American accent is like, yeah, totally.
yeah.
This is a really sweet, nice digs.
Spot on.
So that's a real line from the movie. I'm quoting. It's so quotable is really a plus for it. I'm afraid.
Well, I'll remember it.
There was a part in Me You Madness where I think somebody was holding the boom too close to Westwick's face, and she's talking, but also like caressing his facial scruff, and you can just hear her nails like scraping through his fucking 5 o'clock shadow every so often.
Oh,
And it was just nauseating.
it's horrible. It's horrible.
End of round.
End of round.
Yeah, great.
Moving on to our fourth round, which is which is acting. How'd it make you feel?
The next time we do that, can it be closer to like acting? How did it make you feel?
Ding,
There
ding,
you go.
ding. So, not good for either of any of the movies from anyone.
I hate it.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, it was an all-around horror show when it comes to acting. Everybody sucked. I thought Westwick, again, this has been a very enlightening episode for me because didn't know he was a rapist, and I spent most of the movie admiring his performance more so than anybody else's relative to the surrounding actors.
He is the best actor in the film.
Yep.
Yeah, in both films, I think. And he's done like he's a legitimate actor. He's done stuff.
The
Right.
gossips,
Gossip Girl.
the girls.
The Gossip Girls. He was in a movie with Leo DeCapps a little while ago. I looked him up on the IMDb's.
Now he doesn't get to make those movies because he went a little too far with things.
So what's the story there? He just got Me Too'd and people have come out and said he just raped some people, or is there like a specific...
There were 3 accusations. 2 of them, the prosecution chose not to go forward because they didn't feel they could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, which is famously where these kinds of cases die.
Right.
There's only 2 people were there.
The 3rd one was thrown out because it was past the statute of limitations.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So he didn't get charged for any of them.
No.
Has he been officially blacklisted from when did this happen?
Well, 2017, I think. So name a movie he's made. He's been edited out of a few films, I think.
Oh, has he really?
Right.
I think so, yeah.
Right.
So well,
that's very sad.
Yep.
I don't want to praise him at all, but it's kind of hard not to talk about him in a category of acting when everybody else isn't doing any acting.
Yeah, he's
So
doing
we can
a
just
job
honor
right now.
what's happened, and we can say the serially accused rapist was the best actor in the movie. I think, as long as we
And is probably still the best person of the leads.
yeah. Oh my God.
So is that like a point against the movie? Then
I don't know how it can dig itself out of the negatives right now. So
I thought the Asian friend was phenomenal.
yeah.
The
I like-
She was hot.
I will say, I'll say that Listura Lysistrata actually did a pretty good job, I think, of her language work.
What does that mean?
Her Mandarin wasn't bad.
Oh yeah, I caught that too actually, and she did some French in there, which wasn't bad.
Her French wasn't bad, and then she did. I have a feeling her Vietnamese wasn't bad either. And not to say that she sounded like a fluent, like native speaker, but it wasn't like Keanu Reeves even doing an accent. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wanted to like give her props. Like she took the time to get those right. Get them
She
like
probably she
decent.
probably knows them just through having to travel to these places with Steve.
with Hunky Manunchi.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I think so.
yuck.
Snacky Sneevy.
I'm actually really curious to see how she would handle material that she didn't write.
She's
Because
in Cabin Fever.
Who is she in I haven't
have
seen
no
Cabin
idea.
Fever, but maybe I'll go and watch it. I
Yeah.
probably won't, but I say that because there's glimpses in this movie of someone who can like maybe actually act.
At least she's speaking like quickly and with some energy,
And she seems
with
quirky.
pretty good diction.
She was classically
Good
trained in
diction.
England, so like that goes a ways.
Okay, see that
Yeah.
tracks, but I mean,
Yeah.
the material was so offensively bad that it's hard for anybody to handle that with any kind
Yeah.
of like ease or
It felt
finesse.
like you let the worst person in class. It's like you're on the final day when you've all made your films in cinema class 101, and it's the final day and you're showing everyone, and like no one likes this person, and they get to go up and show everyone their film, and you just have to sit through it.
and it's a film about how awesome they are. Like,
Yeah.
what if they were
Yeah.
James Bond,
Yeah, yes.
but also American Psycho, but like the cool parts of American Psycho? She clearly didn't get what American Psycho was about. Also,
No, she watched a cool movie about a rich dude.
you know, like so many people we've learned, there are a lot of people who emulate American Psycho because they think it's about like a really dope dude.
Yeah, yeah.
They like want to be fit and like
Yeah.
fuck chicks like he does and make money doing like a bullshit job. That's
Like
like
he
the
does.
dream of a lot of bros. They don't get that it's like a send up, that it's not good.
I still don't fully understand the climax of that movie.
Does anyone?
I'm sure someone has to.
Oh, the fight where I guess they fight each other to a tie.
No, of
American
American
Psycho.
Psycho. We're just talking
American
about
Psycho.
better movies now
Yeah,
because
not-
it's
not
hard
We'll-
to keep
we'll-
talking about
We're going to be
this.
doing it. We'll do American Psycho at some point. We'll tune in for that. Go, or like if this is in the future, go find our American Psycho episode and you listen to that one.
Yeah, also Happy New Year's 2042.
Yeah, we're still doing this podcast and
Yeah.
we are not making money.
No. In fact, we are also not making money in anything else that we've been doing because we've dedicated several hours a week to doing this.
This podcast.
Whoops.
Labor of love, you know.
Oopsie.
Whoops. Yeah. So acting.
Best actor in Reefer Madness, hands down. The milk bartender guy washing the glass as he's trying to remember if
But-
he's seen Jimmy.
But fucking really though.
Yeah.
Actually, that is 100% accurate. I clocked that too. He's
I was wholly in on his performance.
He's somehow fascinating as he is just polishing glass. He's making some like really bold choices in
He's
like the
doing
30
something.
seconds. Yeah, man.
He's not
he
just
was
standing
good.
awkwardly close to someone being like, "Are you going to the party on Tuesday night? Boy, it's going to be a gas."
Yeah.
Well, he drops.
Good catch,
he also
man. I
drops.
forgot about him.
You seem all right. Which is my favorite line from the whole movie because it's said like 3 times about people. It's like, yeah, they seem all right. Oh, she's all right. And then he's like, can I find out where this person is? Like, they're down in the house. You know where they are? Well, you seem all right.
Yeah.
Which I just want you to know,
Dreadful.
Sean,
Yeah.
you seem all right.
Oh, I'm doing a good job. Yeah.
Dan, I'm not sure about you yet.
That's fair.
Dan, you, me, it's madness.
Remember when she said the title of the film?
She said the thing.
She said it.
She wrote it.
She wrote
Oh, I was literally just about to ask why the movie is called that because I didn't even catch
it when she
that
said
connection when
Oh.
she said it.
It's also based on a quote by someone that she put up at the end of the movie.
it. Oh, Barca, yeah.
Is it
Any
really?
love that isn't madness isn't love. Or something.
Yeah, which is
You
not.
suck.
Ugh.
Yeah, you suck.
You suck.
Are we even
let's
gonna
just-
talk about
Bill-
acting of people?
Bill's a
like-
piece of crap. What do I have? I hate it. She's bad. He's bad. Oh, the friend? Dude, are you wearing jewelry? Yo, that's weird, dog. Best line delivery of the evening for me.
Dog.
The friend actually wasn't terrible.
No, he was terrible.
He was like
Some
not the
scenes
worst.
he was okay, but the
Yeah.
phone call scene, it's because he clearly was recording it and he like just recorded it on his phone and sent them a clip or something.
Yeah.
So there's no actual connection.
Yeah. Poor guy, his face was so red.
Now,
Yeah.
Just looked awful.
I noticed in Reefer Madness, there's again, I kind of lost track of who some people were. Like there's the Billy
Yeah.
and Jimmy got crossed, and then there's
Yeah.
there's
Mary, there's Blanche, there's May.
there's a Blanche. There's a
Blanche
Blanche
was
is the-
40-year-old's girlfriend or sister
Yeah.
or something.
right.
Yeah, that slept with Billy.
That slept
That
with Billy.
slept
So
with
yeah,
Billy and got
that's
Billy
Blanche.
There's
Wait, that
Blanche.
was Blanche? I thought that was Mary.
No, Mary's
Mary
already
is the
died.
girlfriend who was innocent and was looking for Billy, and then she gets shot.
But isn't she the one who isn't she the one who also slept with Billy? And she she felt all
No.
guilty because she was the one who like initially got Billy hooked.
No, that's Blanche.
Are you sure? Because she's walking down the hall and she has
Mary-
that memory flashback.
Mary is who died.
I know that, but as she's walking to her death, she has the flashback of
That's Blanche.
like all. Oh, I thought it was her just like being consumed with guilt
No.
over how she.
Yeah, but
brought
everyone
down
looks
Billy.
the same. Everyone looks the same, so it's just
There, Blanche and May or whatever maybe look really similar.
yeah.
Because there's also someone else. There's anyway. So I think it's Blanche. She's the one who confesses, right? It's like
Blanche confesses. I thought Mary confesses.
No, Mary dies.
no, Mary is the young woman who fucking died. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Mary got shot. So it is. So Blanche is
Yeah.
the one who kills herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then we are talking about the same person.
Spoilers.
I just fucked up. Mary's the one who
Yes.
got shot by the phantom bullet.
Yes.
Thank you for
Okay.
persisting this far
let's
into the
fucking-
podcast,
okay.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm putting a pin in the let's talk about the fucking gunshot after Jack's
Oh.
comment.
Okay. Thank
Sure,
you.
yeah.
Anyway, so Mary is confessing to Jimmy, the judge. So, so anyway, Blanche is confessing, but I thought that actor who was kind of just like doing whatever, suddenly she goes full Joan of
Yeah.
Arc, and she's like, no, I'm fucking gonna act this shit out of this, even it like, and it sticks out because it's. I think she did a fine job. She looked like
think so
someone who was
too.
breaking down. I thought she was playing the moment, and suddenly the
And it
movie
made her death meaningful.
yeah, it kind of becomes about her for like the last 6 minutes suddenly, where it's suddenly Blanche's story. And she had some chops. She was like clearly a fine actor who'd been relegated to the side. And when she had her moment, she was like, here I go. And that was probably the best. If we're talking about like real acting,
Yeah.
the whole thing, she was the most, maybe
She's
is how
the
I would
most
describe it.
real acted. Yes.
Of the real
So-
acting, she was the most.
Yeah.
So was Blanche? She wasn't one of the drug dealers.
Yes.
She
well,
was.
the yeah.
She would lure them.
Yeah.
She would lure them.
She's
Okay.
the blonde. She's the hot. And then May was the like mother of the house, even though she wasn't related to any of them. She was just like also she was with the gross greasy guy.
Jack.
Okay, so that's
Jack.
what I'm confused. So May was the one who had all those weird kitchen scenes with the
Yes.
greaser,
Yeah.
and then Blanche was the one luring
Luring them in with
susceptible
Wayne.
youth
Yeah. I think it's-
into the
I don't
drug
know.
den.
Could be
Yeah,
Dwayne.
and Mary was the judge.
And Mary was the judge, and
the
Billy
bullet
was God?
Billy. Yes. And
Billy,
Billy was
Billy
God.
the bullet.
Billy the
the bullet.
Oh boy.
So Dan, tell us what your issue is with this gun scene, because
Yeah, what
it's
is it?
flawless
Yeah.
to me.
I thought it was
Perfectly
great.
filmed, perfectly done, perfectly executed.
I mean, now that we're talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing that maybe I spoke too soon. I think that it actually was probably done. I think it was done justice. That is how guns operate. You do shoot a bullet straight into the air, and it ends up in the middle of someone's back who's face down on a couch, and there's no blood loss
Yeah.
in a body. I was actually very impressed with how I guess scientifically accurate it was. Their attention to detail in regards to how bullets behave, according to the laws of physics was actually
Yeah,
quite.
it's like that Angelina Jolie movie.
At least in that movie,
Yeah,
I was going to make a joke about it being
Bend
like
it like
Lon did.
Billy.
Yeah.
Angela, that's that one. I'm not remembering this wrong, right? Angie Jolie and Bend It Like Billy.
Yeah.
That's no further conversation needed. I think that was the point.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that scene was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid. That's
Yeah,
it.
poorly
That's all.
acted.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
insane that that's how they handled a gunshot death in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, Dan. The bullet did some shitty acting. There's no question about it. I think
Yeah.
award for worst
Who hired
acting
that bullet?
goes to Billy.
The bullet.
It's hard to say nice things about these films and their acting. It's hard to say nice things
Or in
about these
general.
films in general.
No.
I definitely had a better time watching one, but we'll discover which.
Yeah. I mean,
Soon.
I think you said at the beginning, but I will say, I remember you mentioned outside of the pod, you were like, "Oh yeah, they're we're doing a bad movies week this
Yeah.
week," which I'm a
Yeah.
fan of. I think it's pretty great, because otherwise you don't want to watch the bad movies. But I'm happy to have seen both of these movies. I will say for what you claimed was, it's true. It's roughly 2.5 hours, 2 hours 40 of viewing time. It was like long. Reefer Madness was a very long hour.
Yeah.
And New Madness was a long movie for me.
I didn't feel it so
yeah.
much with Reefer, but
I felt it more with Me You Madness, but I agree. Both were fucking slogs. Me You Madness, I reached a point in the movie where I was like, oh, cool. I'm actually like, this is kind of fun. I'm pretty engaged, but I'm kind of checking out. It feels like we're barreling towards a climax right now. We got to be out of this in like 15 minutes. And I checked the time, and we were 30 minutes into the film.
yeah, that was the exact same point I did too.
Yeah. And then it was all just fucking downhill from there. So
Nightmare.
thank
Nightmare
you,
fuel.
Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
Hey,
gracing
it's
us.
been a while since I've just ruined someone's week. So
That's true, actually. Your picks have been
Yeah.
pretty on point lately.
Yeah.
So you were due.
I felt bad during Me You Madness because I ridiculed you so much for the wrestling film and for Bucky Larson, Ready to Rumble and Bucky Larson. But I think this is up there. This is the triumvirate now of films that will make me angry.
Yeah, this is definitely worse than at least one of those movies you mentioned.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I think I can't decide which one it is though, because I'm still
Yeah,
I'm
I'm in the
still
same
partial
pickle.
to Bucky Larson. Yeah. All right. Why don't we talk about some things we liked and some things we griped?
Yeah, end of round, by the way. So that's done. That was done like 20 minutes ago. End of all the rounds. What do I got here? Okay, so we're gonna do our little lightning round. It's called what's it called? Everyone at home, say it now. Say it out loud, no matter where you are. Likes and gripes. Thanks for screaming in the grocery store. So this is where we go through and we have 2 minutes on the clock here, not a moment more, and we just list off likes and gripes from these movies. And honestly, 2 minutes might be a stretch this week. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, I'll let you know right now that one of these films I crossed out like and wrote gripes 2.0.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like at some point we should just let you gripe 2.0 for like 30
It'll
seconds.
be cathartic for me, right?
Is that
Yeah.
a Sean break?
Okay. Sean Denjak, yes, as per usual.
Yeah.
All right.
do it.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Like violating the youth of America.
Like the guy who got high and killed his whole family with an axe.
Gripe, the line, I'm 72.5% sure that was an insult.
Gripe, the weightlifting scene.
Yeah. Gripe party mode.
Gripe, the line, I won't be alone, I'll have stuff.
Like getting the public sufficiently aroused.
Like feeding someone human meat.
Like classic drug dealer line, greetings. Hello, fella. How are ya?
Yeah.
Gripe, her inability to hold a nunchuck.
Gripe, acknowledging that your movie is a fucking ripoff and still expecting me to watch.
Like the wacky pianist.
Oh, that was mine, but I said zany.
Oh, damn.
Like the 30-year-old man chasing his kid brother around the table.
Like the guy smoking weed at the window who's clearly already insane.
Like, or yours, or yours, or yours.
Literally my next one, man.
That's such a famous moment. I love
Fantastic.
that.
Gripes, using a table saw instead of a bandsaw to cut limb meat.
Like, bow, bow.
Gripe, the line, nice digs. I mentioned before.
Gripe, stupid cylinder water bottles.
Like, couch.
Gripe, listing a bunch of better movies I'd rather be watching.
Gripe, her message at the end begging us not to shit on her life and her lifestyle.
Ooh, fucking, yes, thank God. Pass.
Boo!
I wanted to hear Gripe 2.0 just from Sean.
I was mixing Gripe 2.0s in with
Okay, great.
simple gripes.
Well done. Those are some of many likes and gripes from these movies. So let's just rate these things. Let's do it. Let's close this out. Do I know how I'm going to vote? I think I do. So let's give numbers. So starting with our first category, story. I think I'm giving this to Dan. You make good points, about how it's clearly stealing. We know that it's stealing from everything. But in doing so, it manages to find a few genuine kind of moments that are kind of its own. A few inadvertently, right? Even though everything is kind of like a shtick you've seen before. But my point goes to Reefer Madness because it has like a plot, and it's boring. And it's pretty bad, but there are characters. They do things. Their actions affect other characters,
and the stakes are always high.
And then things happen. It's definitely a story-based movie.
They are.
Yeah. It also Miu Madness loses points for mainly being a commercial.
Yeah.
So your commercial does not have enough story to stand on. That's my vote is Reefer Madness.
I'm voting that too.
Yeah. I mean, I want my point to go to, like, I was gonna say like Seth Rogen, but he wouldn't be a good person to write this movie. Like Sarah Silverman writing the script for the premise of Miu Madness. That's what I want.
Starring in it.
It's kind of called Promising Young Woman, almost, but not quite. But like same vibes and done well.
Is she a murderer in that movie?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But as it stands, I think you guys are right. I think it has to go to Reefer Madness begrudgingly, because at least there is just like a cohesive plot, and it's shorter.
Yeah, the big points this week for who can get it in shorter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who cannot waste my time.
Oof.
So
I'm
what
divided,
about
guys? I'm really torn on this vote.
Daniel has a big beam of light on his face. He's very silly.
Wait, are you the DOP for Miu Madness? Because you did something with lights. You're good.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. So then, speaking of looks, I'm gonna keep leading the way. This. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
You gotta
No, you can go ahead.
Because I know you make fun of me for my being a
cowardice
kingmaker. Yeah.
Big old bitch.
Okay. I was no. It's okay when I criticize myself. It's hurtful when you do it. So, so anyway, I sometimes am reluctant to go first. So, is a polite way of saying that. So, I'm saying Miu Madness. It has cameras making it and a person
and lights.
Yeah.
and some cute people.
So mad.
Something I wanted to say that kind of encapsulates the overall aesthetic of Me You Madness is that Marisa was in a different room while I was watching this movie, and I had my headphones in so she couldn't actually hear anything, but she could just see it on my TV. And she walked out of the room, and the TV caught her eye, and her very first question in earnest was, "Are you watching a porno?"
Almost.
And I was like, "I am." And she was like, Are you really?" And I was like, "No." But she was so convinced. But that being said, I think it has to. There's no question.
Yeah.
It has to be Me You Madness.
Are there
Can't even
pornos
fight
that
this.
look like that now? Like that?
Like that good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, let me just screen share. I'll
Yeah, that's fine.
no, we'll get dinged for copyright infringement. Let's give that to old Me You Madness for me as well.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But yeah, for sure,
Can't
man.
fight
There's some pornos with fucking super high budgets. It's kind of insane.
VR, you know?
Well, CGI for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's perfect. So then sound. Sound. It's also going to Me You Madness.
Yeah,
because it has sounds.
Some fucking
Nope.
bangers, man. Has some
Protest
bops,
vote.
as the kids are saying.
Protest vote. You're
Protest-
you're not smart just because you know what some like think tank study group gave you a bunch of songs that people want to hear. It's not good filmmaking. It's not good cinema. I'm giving it to the crazy piano playing of Reefer Madness.
I expect nothing less from you, Sean. But I'm with you, Jack. I think definitely it has to, without question, go to Me You Madness.
You know, because I appreciate that while she was working out and being sexy, they had like honka honka over her doing stuff and like a toot in the face. So
Two separate farts. Two
separate farts at least
from
right?
a hot woman.
My God.
For sure, she like steps on Steve Mnuchin's balls, like for pleasure. By the way,
Oh, absolutely. He's into it.
for sure, she
Aren't we all?
he comes out in a diaper and then she
Yeah.
spanks
A diaper
him.
made of money.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, get it close to me."
like there's no doubt about it. After watching this movie, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
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 Was that all the votes? That was right.
Yeah, I did. 2-1
Right, 2-1.
on to acting.
It's 2-1 for Me Madness, right?
Yeah.
I wondered how much this pairing, Sean, was about you also, because I know that Me Madness, we talked about it, and I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah,
And
I
you-
just wanted to shit on it.
yeah, but also give it a movie that could also make it a tough,
I was trying.
and this is good. It's really good. It's I don't know how it's gonna go, because then we have acting now.
Which I think also has to go to Me You Madness.
Disagree.
Yeah,
I think that we've established that Westwick, unfortunately, is the best actor of all the people in the movies.
I didn't say
No.
that.
No.
We all agreed on it.
No, glass
No, we
washing
all-
guy
we
is
all-
by far better
We
than
all
Westwick.
shook on it.
No,
We kissed virtually. We had a moment. Guys.
I said that if we were to say that, we would say that serially accused rapist at
Nope.
Westwick.
Nope. I made a sweeping generalization, and everyone was like, "Yep, that's right." That's how that went.
On to the next one. Eh? Yeah.
I sang the praises of Mary during her confession.
Blanche.
I know I'm doing it on purpose.
It was Billy. It was Billy the Bullet, actually.
when
Billy the Bullet.
when Angelina Jolie bends Billy into Blanche, okay, and Lonzy Lowleg comes out.
Listen, enjoyment wise, I had way more fun watching the bad acting.
You're
of...
skipping a fucking category, man.
No, not.
Are we done with acting?
I was
No,
saying
we're talking about acting.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going enjoyability. Like, never mind. Sorry. My bad.
Wow,
My bad.
way to derail the podcast right
I
there
know.
at the end.
I know.
Come
I know.
on.
It was going so well, too.
My
All right,
vote's
so-
for Reefer Madness. God.
I'm sorry, Sean. You can make your
No.
point if you want. I didn't mean to
No,
steal
I
your
don't want it
moment.
anymore. No, I'm done.
Okay. All right.
Oh, mine's also Reefer
Oh.
Madness. I think.
Sean's upset. God damn it. Fuck you guys. Well, I disagree, but
I just
that's fine.
I just at the end of the day, I think I refuse to call it acting in Me Madness.
Yeah, it's masturbation.
It's okay. I
It is.
have no.
You've got
I
power.
refuse to dignify that silly comment with a response.
The
yeah, this
feud
isn't
is
the
on.
stock market, Sean.
Yeah,
Okay, you can't just masturbate to it or whatever.
it's true. It's super hot. All those numbers.
We've all masturbated to the stock market.
Rewatchability.
Hey, I'm the something rewatchability.
Just digging us out of this hole.
Rewatchability.
How did it make you feel?
How did it make you feel? Yeah, or like enjoyability, whatever. Which movie really stole your heart? Is the
Would you
category this
rather?
week. Yeah. Would you?
So I have a deep rooted disdain for both of these films now.
Correct.
But I honestly think that I am probably far more likely to watch Me You Madness again.
Wow.
I think that Reefer Madness was bad in a boring way.
No. Okay.
And Me You Madness was also boring, but there's so many great things to make fun of that Reefer Madness didn't have. And I wanted them so badly to be there with Reefer Madness, but it didn't deliver what I thought it was going to deliver. And Me You Madness came through in spades in that department, I think.
Once again, we had the extreme opposite viewing experiences because I will repeat everything you said, but reverse the vote.
And that makes sense coming from you, based on what I know about you and your. What's that?
Coming from you.
Well, it's true. It's true. I mean, but based on what I know about you, it makes sense that you would loathe Me You Madness and not want to give it any more attention.
But I
fair.
legitimately had a good time with Reefer Madness, and I wanted to watch it with you guys, and I think it is a fun like group movie because you can make fun of it.
I think I'm firm in the position that Me You Madness is a great group movie that I will likely recommend to other people to stream illegally. And
yes, don't pay money for it.
No, for sure, no, absolutely not. But I definitely see it being a fucking cult hit in like 10 years. It's gonna fly totally under the radar now, and someone's gonna rediscover it in like 2035.
Right.
And it's going to be a thing that everyone has to see.
But okay, so we're entering into a Twilight Zone episode now because you said that, and now 10 years from now we're going to be living in some like ultra Republican republic, the North American Republic of Republicans, and we're going to be forced to watch that every year on Louise Linton Day, you know.
And you're saying that's my fault?
Yeah, you launched us
that's
into
fair.
this timeline.
That's fine.
Again, let's not say her name. If we just call her Lord Voldemort.
Yeah, listeriosis infection.
Sorry, Dan, if you don't understand the reference, we know.
I've seen all the movies, Dick.
Okay.
Just far too late in life.
The real magic is in the books.
Kingmaker Jack.
Just where I wanted to be, from my castle in Scotland. I'm not gonna whiffle about here. My point here.
whiffling?
Shut up, bitch. My point. My point is for Billy the Bullet.
What? Fuck off. No way, man. No way.
No, no, I was joking. I wasn't.
Okay.
That's not a vote for Reefer Madness. My point is for Me Madness.
Thank you.
Yeah. No,
Thank you. Oh, you got me so
I was
worried
jokingly
there.
giving a vote for Bend It Like Billy, but
I'd watch that.
I would watch that.
Keira Knightley as playing Angelina Jolie in the making of Wanted, called Bend It Like Billy.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch is the bullet.
Yeah, he did the mocap.
Yeah.
Spent 6 weeks in the mocap suit, really nailing the bullet.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
He actually doesn't speak, Ben. You don't. No, I will do it.
The gun goes boom. The bullet is actually all right. Great.
Thanks, man.
No, my weird point is for Me You Madness. It's almost in a weird thing where it's not even like rewatchability. It's kind of been mutated and morphed into a recommendability, where even I feel like I would start, because I feel like the cult classicness of Reefer Madness has died. If I'm being honest, I think its cult era is over. I don't think it has much appeal to the teens these days getting high. I think it's kind of past. If I'm being honest, maybe I'm wrong. I think Mute Madness serves as a great piece of anti-propaganda against the elites.
Against the Republican Republic of Republicans.
Of Republica.
Of Republica, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous. And I wanna like find a cut of it that's an hour and 9 minutes, like Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
Because it really was like torture eventually. Like I really was like kind of squirming in my seat.
You can literally cut out 20 minutes of the final act and just go to the final scene at the pool as soon as she tries to start killing him.
So when they release the cult cut of it, it's gonna be great. In fact, we should do that.
Do the cult cut?
Yeah.
Do the cult
I was just
cut.
thinking that. Yeah, we should.
I bet we won't get sued at all.
Oh, we'll do it under aliases.
Right.
And it's like it's fucking
Billy,
fair use because it's
Blanche.
a parody or something. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. We'll have the lawyers fight it. It's fine.
Great. Cool.
Well, you're going to do this honor, Jack.
Yeah, so that means if you're listening,
say these words.
Larissa Lobgut, that the Citizen Kane of the week is
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide.
Me, You, Madness, or Yours, or Yours, or Yours. Clap more, Sean. Come on. Don't hold back. Come on. Clap for her. Clap for her. She's a modern Mel Gibson.
I mean,
Writer, director, star.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
What an experience we all just had.
It was something.
That was my entire day.
You watched them both
I'm
today?
sorry.
Yep, sure did. Sure did.
Oui. Well, thanks everyone for making it through with us. Sorry for this podcast being longer than either of the movies, potentially. But then we have a fun week planned for next week. We kind of picked these together as a group this week because we're not really looking to celebrate Canada, the country, but we wanted to at least honor some Canadian cuties. So next week. We have a lovely pairing of Canadian cuties, and the theme being romantic Ryans. I don't know why I'm doing this.
So hot.
My favorite part is how self-conscious you're getting about it right now.
Yeah, you're very red.
I am very red. I've made myself blush. So the movies next week are going to be The Notebook, which my girlfriend is going to be thrilled, I think.
Absolute classic. Yeah.
The Notebook.
Reese is going to be pissed.
We're going to cry a lot.
She's going to be so mad. She's been like holding out in The Notebook. She's mentioned to me like 4 times that she wants to use it as her next pitch for when she comes back on. Yeah.
Oh, no.
She can come on the episode.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay. So it's The Notebook versus Just Friends. So we have Ryan Gosling versus Ryan Reynolds. And maybe Ryan Seacrest is in these movies somewhere. He's not.
Maybe they kiss a little. Maybe all 3 of them kiss a little, and
yeah.
Maybe.
I kind of wish that Ryan Gosling had done more action-y type stuff. I would have loved to put
Drive,
one of his movies up against like Blade Trinity.
I mean, Drive's pretty actiony.
Yeah, but not really.
Yeah.
It's like neo-noir.
Yeah, it's hot.
More than it is action-y, I guess.
Because it's not like he doesn't sign on to a movie unless he's like, so am I sexy? And they're like, no, it's more serious. He's like, okay, so when do I tell the woman that I can't be with her? Like when do I break someone's heart? Or is my heart broken? Okay, I can't do that movie. Vampires? Do I break someone's heart? No, thank you. So yeah,
he's really good in that film, though. That's the thing, right? Like Ryan Reynolds is really, really good in Blade Trinity.
Yeah, he's fun.
But the movie itself is
pretty silly.
Yeah, it's a Blade movie.
It's passable. It's the worst Blade movie.
Yeah. For sure. They're rebooting it. I'm so excited.
With
Mahershala Ali.
Okay.
Oh damn.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, they're
I
definitely
want
just
them to.
capitalizing on his fame at the moment.
I want them to bring Snipes back. I want.
Oh my god.
To be Daddy
I want that
Blade?
so bad. Papa Blade?
He still wants to do it.
Papa
He's all
Blade.
about it.
I love it. He wants to do anything.
Yeah. He's having a comeback too. He was in Eddie Murphy's movie, right? The one he did for Netflix.
Coming to America 2?
Oh my god.
Was
no.
that for Netflix? That trailer
No,
looked fucking awful.
It looks it's such a cash in for someone. No, the something dynamite or whatever it's called, the one that Eddie Murphy had to come back into. Come back
It was
with
a
as
while
well.
back, but
Yeah,
I
it was
know
pretty
what you're talking
recently.
about. I want to see
Anyway,
the Blade
so-
reboot with Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yeah.
Demolition Man 2.
Again, I'm in. Get Stallone, get Bullock, get Rob Schneider, get Jack Black.
Jack
Get
Black.
them all back.
I love
Yeah, he's
Jack
like
Black.
henchman with gun number 2.
Oh yeah, and Dennis
yeah.
Leary
And Dennis Leary. Great fucking film. When are we doing that?
as the classic or the schlock.
As the classic. Absolute classic.
All right, well you compare them.
All right.
You can do it.
Demolition
Anyway,
Man. But yeah. Okay.
look, this podcast is fucking over. So
Go away.
the podcast is over. Those are the movies. So if you had a bad time, you can tell us that you had a bad time by commenting on I don't know, Spotify or Apple Music. Or if you had a good time, you can tell us that you're high right now on Apple Music. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening. We love you dearly, and that we mean that truly.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were in person, we would touch you on the face and neck area. So, yeah.
And
Faster. Faster.
Versus.